We're together again for Presence and Practice on May 13th. Glad we all can be here. And wherever you are, I encourage you to kind of move your body a little bit so we can orient, stretch, breathe. One thing I learned from I do fashion maneuvers is when we like stretch and hold it is the importance of breathing because that like stretches you on the inside and it oxygenates your body. So just
Oh,
importance of that. All right. So you take in your surroundings, outdoors, indoors, wherever you are. Uh, yeah, let's be here together. And so put your hands on your body and give yourself a hug or whatever is good for you. Just it can change each time. So we'll breathe in a few times together and just settle and sync up across time and space, but being connected in this way. And as we're grounded in the presence of God, we just notice our bodies. If there's any tension, just direct your attention in God's loving presence to the tension you hold in your body, starting from your head and neck and shoulders, and going, scanning your body, your torso, your hips, and your legs and your feet. The tension isn't necessarily something to get rid of, but just to welcome. And sometimes it relaxes a little bit.
my information that I gave you was not correct. Is that what you're saying? Not necessarily not correct, not complete. I suspect that the information you gave him was not complete. But why? Because like I have all my receipts, I gave her all the information.
And as we're quiet, we just want to kind of center in or anchor in where God says that He will be with us all the days of our lives, every moment. And you can think about all the things you need to do or are doing, tasks, maybe big and small tasks or boring ones that you've been putting off. Hold that in your mind, and at the same time, remember He will be with you, He will be with us. Maybe you can think of a task you've been putting off. Maybe it's too big, or it's just you don't know where to get started. Think of that. It's like almost a dual awareness of that daunting task and God's presence with you. Just notice what happens to your body when you kind of go back and forth, you toggle back and forth between thinking of that task and thinking of God's presence with you. And you can return to this practice maybe it loosens things up or just brings a little relaxation to your shoulders or even to the idea and opens up your imagination of possibilities and ease. So as you take a deep breath in, as we kind of wind this part down, and exhale, letting it all go. One last breath together, and exhale. Thank you, Jesus, for being with us in all kinds of tasks, big and small. Amen. And do you want to unmute?
Yes, I kept saying, good to see you. Yeah. Anybody wants to share what it was like to be grounded in this reality of Emmanuel that John anchors into? And then once he anchored us into, he did brilliantly did dual awareness. And this time he was choosing to talk about small, medium, big, daunting task. And with Emmanuel, toggle between two. And I thought it was very brilliant because we always have that throughout the day. I just had few already in the morning. And then I was reminding myself, oh, next time, let me do that. So it was like, instead of saying, oh, I should have done that in the morning, because obviously I didn't have that. But then next time or this afternoon, let me do that. That's how you grow new pathway, because we often say, oh, I should have done it, darn it. When we are aware, we think, darn it, I forgot about it. But it's the same thing. Instead of darn it, regret, oh, it'll happen again. Let me do it this time. Next time, this way. That's the same thing, but it's just huge, make a humongous difference. One is reinforcing your shame and guilt. The other one is just possibility. So I thought that's what's happening inside of me. How about you guys? Maybe one person. What was it like for you to be anchored in Emmanuel, the reality God is with us always, and the dual awareness? Joanne, thank you.
I have a hard task this evening,
Mm-hmm.
dreading.
Mm-hmm.
So
Same.
I just really appreciated the dual awareness and being able to focus on Emmanuel's with me, and I'm not going to be in that by myself.
Yeah.
Just was very comforting to revisit that place when I'm feeling very anxious right now.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Very good, very timely for me. Thank you.
That's right. So let's remember, like, me too. I had that, and that's why I was stuck, too focused, not being able to have a dual awareness, fixated, I would say, or paralyzed, dread that we don't want to go near. So even if we are anchored, let us remember that still the anxiety will be there if it's that daunting task. Because I noticed that that's why I wrote about home. So I want to begin with home. So if you guys remember, I just sent that. So you don't need to, like probably some people read it, some people don't. But I just was thinking of today's topic is I want to revisit. I want to always step back. Actually, if it's there, one takeaway is what John said. Emmanuel, God is always with you in times of despair, in times of dread, in times of anxiety, worry, excitement, all state. It's not about staying in a gold zone or yellow. It's not on the top of your ladder. That's not what God calls. I think what's happening is we are going to keep going back and forth. Don't try to stay one place, which happened to be yellow or the window of tolerance. I think we Christian, our goal is not about being in the middle or not only widen the window or stay on the top of the ladder. That's not it. I never said that. But I think whenever we learn something like that, something in us thinking that that's our goal. I just want to name that one more time. In this space of studying nervous system or window of tolerance, different parts work, just knowing that God is in that what Emmanuel, every state, even I don't remember, even I don't feel that he's with us, the reality is he's with us. I think that's it. And then all the things that we are learning is just a tool to actually unburden us from shame and guilt. If there's a one goal that I had as a trainer, that's what it is. If we reduce the shame and guilt, I think we all know it. But then what's blocking us from accessing the reality of Emmanuel is shame and guilt.
Mhm.
So I just want to name that. And then that's why. So I noticed the pattern of this community. When I'm focusing on some sort of now science or nervous system, we've been kind of going on impulse and we are teaching it a little more like in depth. And then we kind of lose the focus. Why are we doing this? Okay, oh my gosh, I don't know whether I'm in freeze or like, am I in dorsal? Oh, where I am. Like people are now like so focused, and I really relate to. I'm very fixated. I want to know everything so that I'm focusing my focus. Why I'm learning, why we are learning to access or return to the reality of Emmanuel that John is doing. John was saying. So let's all step back. That's why whatever I bring, within that short amount of time, less than 1 hour, I cannot say it all the time like that. So either when we go to church, we only talk about God is with us, God is with us. We feel so good about it. And then when we're going to the world, we forget. Or if we go into the world and then like this morning, fixated on the phone, I'm just looking, and then I forget about God's reality. So that's what John is talking about, dual awareness. Okay, that's why we are learning about all these things maybe that we don't learn at church. But the focus is not about this. This is a tool and lens to help you to see this invisible reality. God is with us in all state, even when you hate that you put you in there. So that's why, so I want to read some portion of it, and then I'm going to use two people's entry, like the post. Kirsten, you are here. One is yours. And then I had so much fun with yours. And I think you will love it. And then I created something just for you, but then for other people. So I just want to affirm you one more time. Your faithful walk with God really bless me. And then does actually you are blessing other people. You don't mean to bless other people. That's not why you are writing it. But I just want to let you know. I mean, there is another one that I chose, but I really appreciate how you show up as a template and example. So I think you will love it. So you have a special gift, but then other people will be all blessed by your entry. Okay, so we are going to read the one that I wrote and posted last night. If you don't read it, you can always go back and read it again. And then after that, I'm going to use Kirsten's example. and then Marion's example, and then we are gonna almost like what we've been doing, and then again, just another moment of making it is very like personal, applicable. That will be my hope and desire. Okay, so I'm sharing this screen. Okay, I thought I'd share here. Here. Okay. So I'm not gonna read all of it, but maybe Joanne, can you help me to read it? So just, do you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. The house of the Lord. That's, I think there was a previous some writings. I just skipped that. The title was Coming Home. We've been talking about returning home, but then going again. And so house of the Lord means the Bible reference, but for us, it's the home that what we're talking about, in the presence of God. Okay. So can you read that?
Yes. The house of the Lord is not an escape from the world. It is a source for it.
Yeah.
I come home anxious and worried and leave steadied enough.
Mm-hmm.
I come home empty and hollow and leave just filled enough. I come home hurt and heavy and leave held enough to stand again.
Hmm.
I come home depleted and leave recharged enough. I come home discouraged and leave encouraged enough. I come home hopeless and leave hopeful enough. And I come home shamed and leave held in love enough.
Okay, just pause, and then everybody just again, probably not like, just you can already see that the purpose of coming home is not completely, it's not about, I use the word fixed, it's not about that us being broken and fixed, just whatever the problem that we desire, it's not completely gone, not without hurt, but just enough to go again. So John, can you read the comfort?
Comfort is not the destination, but it is the fuel. There's a rhythm I'm learning to recognize. I go, I spend myself, I return home to be restored, and then I go again. That returning is not a failure. It is, I believe, the design. Stress, tension, and weariness are not signs of problems to be solved. They can be the very signals that draw me back, the ache that reminds me where my strength truly comes from.
Pause. That's what it is. I think purpose of home, the presence of God, is not we just stay there. I know some said dwell in the house of the Lord like all the day of my life. I want that, but I realize there is this both. Spiritually speaking, yes, I want to dwell there on the top of the mountain, but we go down, we go again. And that's the life until we arrive, until we God calls home and just really be in his presence forever. And then here forever. Yes, that's our very legitimate longing. And then there are times that in extended time that we can't even stay there. But then in reality, the life that you guys live and I live, we need to spend our energy. It's not only just receiving and receiving, like Barbara, she's just going through the recovery, just very energy spending, just simply, it looks like you will stay in the presence of God because you are not doing so much, but just recover. But it is so much time and energy consuming. So you spend energy, right? So it's like, how do we hold this both? So home is not your escape, but it's actually the fuel that we receive, like moment by moment. So just because we lost it or feel distance from it, it's not a failure. Like the last sentence, the ache that reminds me that where my strength truly comes from. Let's say for Jamie, would you read the next one?
What moves me most is that the going, the making of disciples, and the presence of God are not in tension in that verse.
Hold on a second. I think I was just talking about the famous verse in Matthew when Jesus, all your Christians say Ascension Day. That's the tomorrow in Germany they celebrate. When Jesus was ascending to heaven, we know that the famous passage about I will be with you until the end of the day. And that's where he's saying, therefore, go and make disciples. That's what I'm referring to. So the promise, continue.
The promise, surely I am with you always, is spoken precisely in the context of go. Home does not stay behind when I leave. In a very real sense, it travels with me. It is not a place I visit and then abandon. Rather, it is a presence I carry into every tension-filled conversation, every weary moment of caring for loved ones and doing good work, every unsure ground I stand on, not knowing what to do. The purpose of coming home in times of stress is not to remain there. It is to be comforted enough to regain strength enough, and then to go again and again to make disciples, including the young teen parts of me, to serve, to love the people around me.
Thank you. So I think I'm not going to share more about it, but I think what dawns on me yesterday, Lectio Divina, that passage, the very familiar one, I recognized that the very promise of Emmanuel was given in the context of when Jesus saying, therefore, go and make disciples. And that's something in me really clicked. That's what it is. But I think there's a part of me who only wanted to stay in the presence of God, and I don't want to go anywhere. Or sometimes just go, and do. But it's both. It's both. But again, now I know it's both, but how do I live it out? It's just lifelong journey, and nobody figured it out. Everybody has their own timeline, their style, the way that you do things. So like really pause one more time, whatever the journey or the point that you find yourself in. And I want you to know that this place, home, is not something you stay behind when you leave and do things. John and I didn't coordinate, but what he lead in the beginning is just perfect example, the dual awareness. And then I write to make disciples, that therefore go and make disciples. That's why I wanted to be a missionary right after college. And then I lived in the Philippines for a year to test it out, whether I will live my life as a missionary. And then back then I thought that making disciples is just go to another country, which is really included. But just I wrote, make disciples is not only you are in a discipleship relationship as a discipler, or mom and dad as a discipler to your children, or as a pastor or missionary or whoever. But I also want to say you, this adult you, is making a disciple of your young and teenager part as well. So that is something I think I talked about it in a different place, but it's a very worth naming it. It's not only making disciple of other people. There are parts of us that needs to be mentored, supported, guided, waiting for a discipler who's just really, just the way that you take your making discipleship really serious as a follower of Christ. So I just want to name that. And then I'm going to read the last part and then pause. This is what I'm sitting with today. Home is both where I return to and then what I carry with me. The longing to dwell there is good and right, but I was never meant to keep still, meaning not moving, not mobilizing. And then we just think of those things just really dualistic. But I think it's really, God holds both. So I'm going to pause right there and just take a moment, give you a moment to kind of take it in and hear. And then maybe one person, again, I just love to hear, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? How it landed in you at this moment? and then I'll move to next. That's what the home, like, I don't think I ever, like, even now, like, it's still evolving. We all know that it's the presence of God, but I'm just like really with you guys since the October. It becomes more clear and clear what people are needing, what people are looking for, where people break down. What we need to do becomes clear to me since October. So I thank you guys, everybody, for journeying with me so far. So reading that portion, anybody wanted to share what are you thinking and feeling and what it means to you at this moment? Yes, Katie.
This is super helpful. Oh, there. I'm recognizing what I'm trying to put together is this idea of what to expect. I've been putting this nervous system information in the category of like regulation and dysregulation. I'm not a, an expert in this at all, but I'm picturing that circle of the negative emotions and the joy in the center, and how I've been kind of like putting this, what I'm seeking in home, to be a type of regulation that you might call peace. It's not an escape. I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm trying to get away from it, but like, or maybe like courage, like energy. Do you know what I mean? Not like a retreat, but more like, okay, I know God is with me, so that means I'm safe enough,
yes,
to do the next thing. Or, and there is something about that is energizing, that to me, I've been relating to the yellow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're saying it's not like getting back into the yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just my own understanding that's I'm trying to fit those two ideas together and maybe it doesn't matter. It just matters that I'm looking for the right thing when I'm thinking about home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Yellow is, so I'm going to show you, but okay. So when it comes to nervous system, people talk about the vagus nerve, whatever, the ventral part, as a brake of the bike. So teachers are describing like that. The bike has a brake, but when you're riding a bike, you just hold the bike, the brake. You cannot hold it always. Mm-hmm. What you are looking for is just a smooth riding. But when you are going downward, you don't even need to hold it tight. Then you are gonna fall. You have to just very almost gently. You don't even need to use. I don't ride a bike, so that I'm not a person actually with it, but I know enough to know that. So it's like when we are saying it, yellow zone is maybe just you are riding it on the smooth surface. But life is not like that. Just because even though you want to be in yellow, life brings the downhill, life brings the uphill. So what you are saying is home going with me, Jesus being with me, uphill and downhill, and then this. But all of us only wants the road to be this. So then so it's not about we want road to be this. I want to be a kind of person who can ride everywhere. And then even falling, I can get up and ride again. So I think that comes to my mind. So thank you for sharing, so that I kind of know the temperature of the room. And then I'm going to share how other people are wrestling with what you are doing, Katie. So that'll be helpful. Okay, I'm going to read, let's see, share. Let me see. I'm going to read Marian's first. I wish that Marian can, but Marian never can make this because I think her time at the stay. So Marian, if I know she always watches, it seems like she watches it always at the end of the day or something. So Marian, I think of you. I don't know why I get tear up. I think you guys didn't meet Marian, but I meet her through the Wallowing, and it's funny why I get tear up. So I'll just pause. So, Marian, if you're watching, I love you as a sister, and this thing that you wrote, A Step, really blessed me. All right. Okay, Sunny, can you read that for me? This is her, I think, sift.
As exhausted feel in my head, tears, impulse, crying out from deep in the well, help. F, grief, lament, distress. T, present hitting on past that needs healing. Some things are simply not working well at all. Reminds me of times in past of being in places begged not to be. Young parts of me and teen part of me of boarding school and college years. Feels overwhelming now. It must have felt unbearable as a child and teen. Parking it with Good Shepherd so I can continue with work. Nervous system had to go underground and external appear in order to survive and function. Able to notice I'm on struggle bus and say so. A step.
I really like this because I think, you know, why this really helps me, because it looks like nobody's teenager here in your 20, maybe some are 30, I don't know, maybe good old, I think majority of us all above 40. We all have a certain memories, and then you can tell she grew up in a boarding another country. I think I know her little story a little bit. Maybe she's a missionary's child. They grew up in a different country and boarding school. And then the line that beg not to be. And I don't know what it is, but just utterly powerless, but really begging. So I see in this, I see this. Very, very, like there's a cry for help, but there's nothing that can be done. She begged not to be, so that the freeze and submit, that's what I see. And those moments are actually very painful. And then you can see that by sifting, and I cannot know exactly what happened, but she's able to name. And then from there, she's able to say the young parts of me and teen parts of me, boarding school and college year, feels overwhelming now. And then she shifted and saying, it must be felt unbearable as a child and teen. It's like all of a sudden, there is somebody who has a compassion for them, her past, even though the past invaded into the present moment. Do you see what's happening right here? And that's amazing. That's amazing. Many of us don't even know when the past invaded the present, and then just stuck in the past and just is living in process. And then she at that moment, but she somehow shifted quickly. I don't know, quickly, whatever that is. And then Katie, what you are saying, look at what she's doing. Instead of being pulled by it, just simple noticing of it, she just parked it with the Good Shepherd. And then what she said, I can continue with the work. Whatever that she need to do it. I don't know what she meant honestly here, or this long work, her life, she will do it later, or she gotta go back to work. And just like, again, that's the purpose of it, guys. When we are studying nervous system, she's able to park it with a Good Shepherd. Their one line is everything. You don't need to know all that accurately. And then nobody knows I think it just no good enough, reasonable enough, safe enough. And then she named it this. Nervous system had to go underground, but at the same time, externally, she had to look okay to survive and function. So she named it brilliant. What's that? This is what she's saying. There was this cry for help. And then there was a nothing. She begged not to be, but nothing is done. But what is that? Needs to just having appear outwardly all functioning. So it's right here, not exactly this one. It's like a functional freeze. Outwardly still performing, still going to school, still smiling, appeasing, pleasing, controlling the situation, try to do the hard work. So that's what she's naming. Then able to notice I'm on struggle bus. I don't know what that means in English, but I just thought it was funny. She's on this yellow bus kind of thing. I don't know, struggle bus. And just say, so I wish that she was here that I could ask her what that meant, but I had to chuckle like, okay, I'm on this bus. And then she's just like accepting it. To me, when it is truly like the, okay, so I will tell you this, I'm gonna show you. This one, this is like basically she's on a struggle bus. She's not in a normal bus yet. Do you see what I'm talking about? But then she notices, so I like this window of tolerance model because of what Katie was talking about is point is not staying in this yellow. If it's the bike's brake, this pink is activated, and then this one is this blue, it's going up to the blue zone, is activated. But what she's doing is this presence of God, Emmanuel, this yellow energy, if it's a nervous system energy, it has a break. That's how I understand. There's a break. It's going downhill so fast, but she just hold the brake gently. Do you see what I'm saying? Not doing so fast that she's gonna like fall. See, that's what her entry is doing. And then she's saying she just accepted. That's what it means when you are in the place of this. When it is combined with the yellow and pink together, you are surrendering. You are accepting the things that you cannot control. No matter how you beg not to be. Or in her life boarding school, things would not change back then. But now she's adult enough, knowing enough that the yellow is holding the brake just enough so that she will not be stuck in shame and despair and she cannot go to work. No, she can park it and then go to work. And then she said, I'm on a struggle bus. And then the title, I love this entry. And then at least it's a step. Like, oh my gosh, how eloquent and brilliant it is. So to me, why I choose this kind of thing and share with you guys, people are doing it. It's hard. Sometimes you don't even know that I don't know what nervous system. I don't know where I am. But she has been doing it enough that I think she has a very solid experience. And then she did this, right? And then Kirsten was one of them who responded. And then she said this, Kirsten, you said it in response to Marian. You said, they remind you of 10 seagulls, name it to tame it. Where it is, prefrontal cortex is on enough. Do you see what I'm talking about? But then specifically enough, Janina Fisher, I learned from this noticing brain, the yellow medial prefrontal cortex is engaged because somebody is observing teenager part and young part. Who's that? That's it. So that's what's happening right there. That's what it is like we navigate every moment of it. Okay, now it's a very similar. The next is the Kirsten, and then I would love to hear you guys' feedback. But if I stop and then get your feedback, I might miss Kirsten. So I'm gonna go to Kirsten's thing. So Kirsten, since you are here, can you read it with us? Okay, let me do this a little so it's bigger for you. Is that helpful?
Mhm.
Okay.
The last days have been so intense that I felt extremely exhausted. Today, I feel like everything is loosening its grip. Caring for some refugees activated my sense of helplessness and, what surprised me, loneliness. My chest and belly were aching. I felt a pressure on my chest and had low energy. I realized that feeling shame, despair is a landscape that is very familiar to me. And it was like that I didn't want to leave this place because it is so well known to me. Looking at Songshim's chart, I was reminded of a video I couldn't find anymore, but the idea of what I could do came back. Thinking of Songshim's presentation of What and PVT, I realized that Shame Despair is connected to the dorsal and What to the ventral vagus nerve. I asked ChatGPT about somatic exercises to activate the ventral and found 2 yoga poses I already know, the downward dog and child's pose.
Ha.
In this overwhelming state, I felt like a dog curling up. When I saw the yoga poses, I began to smile because my dog is here again, but looking down. Decided to connect the child's pose with my prayer time.
Beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you. Okay. Oh, no, I'm going to continue. I'm going to go to her slide. Okay. Sorry. Hold on. I prepare slide. Okay. So what I like about Mary and Kirsten, all of us relate to a time that old memory get activated. There's a very common, the experience that you might relate to. And then Kirsten's thing is she's doing, it looks like something very meaningful. She's there for the refugee. Like in her work, that's, I think, if I know it, I think it's a volunteer work. She wanted to giving her gift and time and energy, but then sitting with the refugee really activated her sense of helplessness. And then she's saying that that's very familiar. So take a moment, the refugee's life. There's a cry for help. She is sitting with people, not only one, probably more than one people. That energy is this, but then they lost even their home. They are not even home. Where is it? They are here. They cannot fight or flight. They are here. Do you see? So then she is with another way of this. So I'm just sharing these things, a window of tolerance, and then this, she had an image in her mind. So that when she felt like so low like that, instead of judging her why she's like that, comparing to the refugees, she had a good life, right, Kirsten? So then almost we should be grateful. And then, I mean, you did a good job. Why you were like that? Why you feel so drained? But oddly enough, being in their space and being there for them, activate, and also not only activated it, you are breathing that air. People's cry for help, but your ability to rescue them is so tiny. It's almost nothing. But our heart, this is what I want to say, this, you wanting to really fight, you wanting to end the suffering. There's something in you, really, God, help these people. Use me, here I am. So you made yourself available, right? So there's a lot of mobilization. That's why some people are scared of going there, but you chose to volunteer. And then, you walk away in a very familiar place right here, you know it. When you cry for help, nobody came. We don't need to know the story. It's just an implicit, your body and feeling memories. And then what she did was, like, remember this, and I don't know exactly, since I'm aware of time, I'm not gonna go in, I'm not gonna ask question now. What she remember is, instead of just that time, like, oh, why I'm so low energy, I should be grateful, like, I need to do more for these people. Instead of doing that, you pause and then recognize, okay, what about those 2 charts? I think that was related to the very dorsal one. Okay, so what do I need to do? I need to go somehow get engaged with this yellow energy, right? So then you look it up. Now there's the thinking is activated, right? It's not like the down here, you get activated and you ChatGPT it, and they say there are 2 yoga poses you can do, downward dog, and then the baby, the child pose. Okay, so I want to tell you something that I prepare. So look at this. What's going on in the nervous system of Kirsten? So one, she have the sense of stress now going into the overwhelm, meaning overwhelm means freeze to the bottom dorsal. And then she didn't say it, but this is my educated guess. The sympathetic dog energy, which is fight, flight, energy rises, is mammal, protect it, fix it, move it, do something, actually came up. But number three, there's no clear way to act at the time. The refugees, what she's dealing with, honestly, she doesn't know what else she can do besides what she can offer by just showing up and then just be there for them and listening to them, whatever the volunteer things that she's doing. So that's freeze, right? And then what happened was they drop into shame and despair, the freeze to the bottom pink one. Now exhausted, lonely, there's a chest pressure, belly ache, low energy. It's not only just the collapse, because there's an energy going on. So she was thinking of this curl up dog, but what's happening in her body is that when she did two pose, the downward dog is actually, since I do yoga, let me stop right here. You guys can look at this later. I think I will share it maybe under Kirsten's thing. Basically, what downward dog was doing is it's very different than child pose. Child pose is containing. And then I know that I ended up reading Kirsten's post right after my yoga class. So I was doing all this thing right after I did 1 hour yoga. So I know yoga a bit because I'm a practitioner of yoga like regularly. So doing it, downward dog is actually engaging your sympathetic energy. There's a lot of energy, but then she's doing it not in a fighting way, without panic way. You can engage your like really lot of energy in a safe way. And then she pray in a child pose. So what happened was, not only dorsal, she felt freeze right there. There's a lot of energy activated, desire to protect them, desire to do something, but there's no way to go. And then I just found that her example was just very like everyday experience that in parenting, in your couple's relationship, like John said, in your daunting task, that's exactly what's happening. And what she did was just very beautiful, is that, again, she engages in with using her, basically she engaged in her somatic first. And then that helps her to loosen up enough to access this invisible reality that God is with you. And then you can mobilize whatever the energy, instead of being stuck, trapped. And then next time you can go back to the refuge place, because that place will activate that again and again and again. There's no way, just because I equipped with this home energy, you can just next time going and like, oh, like yellow. It's not like that. It's not. Like what it is like for Kirsten to accept the things that she cannot change, but then still do the things, the courage to do the things that she can do by just showing up as a volunteer and be there with them. So that's what I think, that almost the purpose of that, why we practice home and why we wanted to understand the nervous system and the window of tolerance. You can see it, the exercise of SIFT, why those are helpful. Why? Because it helps you to open your eyes to see what's happening, beginning to see a little more clearly. You don't need to know everything, but like intuitively, with that much of information, each one of them. And then I had a Diana's thing too. And then there is another one, I think, what's her name? About the one that who was stuck in Kim in bathroom in Israel. So when you guys read those things, that you just really like, It's not anything big trauma, everyday life, small moments, doing good things are happening, what it is like to come home and then park it and then still do the things that we need to or want to engage. So this is today what I prepared. So now I have 5 minutes and I would love you to share what's helpful. If there's any questions you have that you want me to pay attention to, then I'm here.
I just appreciate how I I knew yoga was helpful and I knew I loved it, but I didn't quite know why, but I understand more now. So I just want to appreciate it. I love how you connected it to the fact that it helps us mobilize this energy and it it just like how you give us ways to understand how our nervous system works in a practical, applicable way. This is like another um, nugget, and I find myself delighting in it, the knowledge of it, and the application of it. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I've been like curious with myself about something I've been going through a while that I haven't posted on the wall of winds, but somehow throughout today as I listened, I like things are crystallizing, and so I do plan to share my struggle with travel planning, something that seems so innocent enough or easy enough or maybe just kind of trivial every day enough. I have been curious, what is it about this that just I find myself procrastinating, putting it off, dreading when, I know the result of it will be wonderful. I just couldn't figure it out exactly. I had hints and clues. But again, I don't know if it's because by participating in this group here in this way, is it because we're accessing our medial prefrontal cortex that things are crystallizing? And I think I'm going to be ready to post soon what I have realized about what is there for me with travel planning that makes it so hard and daunting.
Um, Thank you for sharing. I think me too. So I think, do you remember what I share why I teach detailed nervous system, all these parts? We didn't go to parts yet, but I am preparing because when you do these things that the way that I've been guiding, if you build it up, the parts will come so just easy, so natural, intuitive, just flowing. That's why I'm parking right here a lot. So what you said, Jamie, again, reminds me of reducing the shame and guilt, because the travel plan, something so good, like you say, innocent or easy, and it should be easy. But who said that it's easy? For your nervous system, for some reason, it's daunting and overwhelming. That's it. But whatever that is, when we live a certain way, we again judge and then evaluate right or wrong or good or bad.
Yeah.
It's just something we don't even pray about it because it's a luxury thing that you can travel. And then there are people refugee, like almost then you feel like we Christians, especially, I cannot talk about my daunting feeling that was caused by travel plan. It's shame and guilt. And that's why to me, whatever that caused you overwhelming feeling, almost to me, I would say it doesn't matter. But then we Christian already put the label that is bad. Like, what is wrong with you? You live a luxurious life. Doesn't make sense. But when you understand this nervous system activation, it's simply information.
Yeah.
It's an information. Whatever that is, that thing is daunting. and overwhelming, period. And
Yeah.
then our goal is to take it to God, basically. That's what it is. Okay, so thank you for sharing it, Jamie. Anybody else before I go?
I
And
just want to say I like the drip, drip, drip. It's not big. It's not know everything at once and then apply it all. It's just be aware and then see how it all fits. And it's slow. I appreciate your encouragement to go slow and notice. Thank you for that.
thank you. So those who didn't share but feel comfortable sharing on a chat, I would love you guys to not only I hear, but also that's the way that your brain will get it one more time, like Jody or Jamie saying it out loud. It helps you to hear one more time. That's how you grow. So it's not, yes, I received that, but also engaging your thought process and feeling process, the meaning. Like, you will know why I keep encouraging people to engage, mobilize. But again, when it is not, again, making a choice of not is also important thing. So if it is like that, don't. But then those who are like, oh, wanted to do it, but I feel, then I just encourage you to mobilize and then move towards the things that kind of makes you feel scared. Oh, I don't want to say something stupid. So just that's why just your takeaway, not so much about like, you don't need to comment on that. Like, you were just how it landed in you. So anyhow, while you are writing, I know that I have something else that I need to go to. So I need to go, but you guys can stay. But I love it. Kirsten, I will put that thing under your post so that other people can understand. And that happens a lot. I think all of us. And I think Kirsten's example really illuminate what's happening inside. And then it doesn't need to be the only orienting the sequence somatic. And then I thought that your downward dog and then child pose is just an excellent another somatic that I want people to remember to use it. So that's why. Okay, guys, thank you for your presence. And then I will see you next week. Bye-bye.